Hi everyone, today we're going to be creating this lavender watercolour piece. It's super simple, so anybody can join in. Please don't feel like you can't, as this tutorial is definitely aimed at beginners, as like I say, it's super simple, so let's get to it. To begin with, as normal, I made sure I had all my materials in front of me ready to go, which included 2 glasses of water. This is basically to clean the brushes a lot faster rather than just using one. It means that I didn't need to change the water as much. Nothing too crazy behind that logic. I also had a variety of paints in front of me, as you can see. I wanted to go crazy with all the colours in this piece, so the more the better. Please don't feel limited to a specific colour palette. I just included all my favourites and all the colours that I knew would work really well together for this lavender piece. I also had my palette in front of me ready to pre-mix the colours, which just makes it easier before adding onto paper, and I lined my paper with washi tape to create that nice crisp edge to finish. Before I added any colour down onto the paper, I added a layer of water where I wanted the paint to go. This is also known as the wet in wet method. And once I was happy with that even spread of colour, I then began to add the lightest colour that I was using today, which was a nice vibrant yellow. I then used this yellow and just randomly dotted it across all of that wet area, being careful not to overpower the paper too much, as there was a lot of other colours that I wanted to add down, so maybe bear that in mind. Yeah, and all I did was randomly dot this across that wet area. I then did the same with the pink and followed on with the purple. I was a little bit more calculated with where I put the purple, as I was then focusing on where I actually wanted the lavender to go. So again, that's something to bear in mind, but there's no strict rules to this, wherever you want the colours to be. I just wanted that purple to really be part of the background of where that lavender was going to fall over the top of it. So as you can see, there's just that little bit more purple as opposed to everything being completely balanced. Although it does not overpower the piece, there is still that balance between all the colours. I then followed the exact same process again with the green, but I put this more towards the bottom as I did want more of that green area. The same way I wanted the purple at the top, that green was definitely pinpointed at the bottom that little bit more. The final colour that I then went in with was a blue. I wanted to leave this till last, following the same colour process where I used the yellow to begin with, as it was the lightest colour, and blue is typically that more dominant, powerful colour. Anytime I've used it, I always water it down just that little bit more, which is exactly what I did for this piece. And then again, just dotted a few random little dots across the page. At this stage, that is all the colours ready to go for the background, so you can go in and add a few more if you want to. Like you can see, I added a few more at the top, randomly dotted them in, and then you can wait for your paper to dry and we can move on to actually putting that lavender down on the paper. I then went back in over all this background that has now dried with a darker purple, and to do that I just didn't add as much water to the paint, and then I just put in them tiny little dots to replicate that lavender feel to the piece, and did this all the way across the page. I worked from left to right as I'm left-handed. If you're right-handed, you might want to obviously work right to left to prevent smudging, and all I did was put in them lavender sprigs using just a few dots to create that illusion across the rest of the page. To view this video in real time, you can head over to my Patreon, where you'll find plenty of watercolour real-time tutorials and also coloured pencil tutorials if that is something that you are interested in learning. So head over to the link in my description to check that out. You can also like this video and subscribe to view more nature themed artwork that I'll be creating. I'm trying to post far more on YouTube, so that like and subscribe would be really appreciated, as it shows that you're interested in the work that I'm creating. So yeah, please do that for me, it would help massively. So as I was putting down the lavender, I tried really hard not to overlap any pieces at this initial stage, as it would have all collected together, as we're only working, like I say, with dots, and I didn't want all of this to merge and create just a splatter across the page. I tried hard to keep everything separate, and then that meant you can go back in once that has slightly dried. It doesn't need to be fully dry, and then do the same thing again, create that overlap, and you can really see the distinction between individual pieces of lavender. It's also really fun at this stage to get creative with the work that you are producing. You can put lavender anywhere, you can make them smaller, larger, put them in the middle of the page, just at the side if you wanted to, have them all slanted if you want it to look like there's a breeze coming in, something like that. So it's really, the floor is yours to create whatever you want this piece to be. And then to tie up this piece, I added in some of a darker green in comparison to that initial background, and put in them little stems to really bring the lavender to life, and that is essentially it for this lavender painting. I also added in, of course, some paint splatters. I think this really tied everything together, brought the piece to life, and really helped with that expressive effect I was going for. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure again to like and subscribe for future art content, and I shall see you all soon. Bye!